Stand by, we're still getting ready. Are you ready now? Welcome back to the channel, Live and Trek Go.
Travelling.
Not
been anywhere yet though.
No, but we are going somewhere. Today you join us in the van on our drive at home, and the reason that the van is here at home rather than the storage yard is because we've just really brought it out of winter storage. We've done a few jobs on it, getting it ready for the 2025 season. We've washed it, we've sterilised the
water thing, pure cleaned
internal water system and so on and so forth, and the pipes, because we have a couple of trips planned away, not long trips, just short trips, in a couple of weeks time in March, and then the month after in April. So we're just getting it spick and span and ready
she's
to go.
Coming over to say hello.
Stand by. No, she
changed her mind.
Yeah, the dog's in the van with us. She's on the other side.
She's a bit of a sunbush.
So just a short video today, because we've got a bit of a question in relation to a spare wheel. When we first had the caravan, when we picked it up, the guy that did the handover mentioned that a lot of caravanners these days don't carry a spare wheel and instead choose as an alternative just to carry tyre foam.
Sealant.
That's it, sealant. You know, as you've got in your car, if you haven't got a spare wheel in your car these days, you just get the old tyre weld stuff.
Which in a car years ago, we had some of that, didn't we? Because the car had just come with sealant. So we used it, and then what do we need to do? Well,
buy a new tyre, because they tell you once you have a puncture in your car and you use this stuff, you can't repair your tyre, and they try and force you into buying a new tyre. Anyway, so being the newbies that we were when we picked the caravan up,
I think we still qualify as newbies.
August last year, I thought the less weight that I tow in the caravan, the better.
He was obsessed with how much weight in the caravan.
And still am.
Yeah.
Because weight, when it comes to towing, obviously is money. So the guy at the time said that a lot of people don't choose, a lot of caravanners these days don't choose to carry the weight of the spare wheel and opt just to carry the tyre weld. And I thought,
that's what we'll do.
If that's good enough for him, it's good enough for me. I being a newbie, didn't know any better. And for the first several trips that we did in the van last year, I didn't carry...
We've only been away in it twice.
But we've been to a few sites, haven't we? I didn't carry a spare wheel. And then a few people commented on earlier videos about the pros and cons of having the wheel and not having it. And it got me to thinking which side of the fence, from a safety point of view, we needed to come down on. Because at the end of the day, you need to make a decision. Do you carry the spare wheel or don't you? And are you going to risk it and just go for the tyre weld? There is, as I finally accepted, some risk in not having your spare wheel.
And, oh my God, can you imagine us side of the road with a chuffing flat tyre? I mean, that would be bad enough, having a flat tyre, but then having to replace the whole thing. Would you have to just put in sealant in? Because you can only drive it for a little bit, can't you, with sealant in?
Yeah, and the other thing which struck me was, it's all very well and good deciding to have the spare wheel in the caravan in case you get a nasty puncture. But if you've got no means of replacing that wheel, if you haven't got a jack, if you haven't got the ability to lift your van in order to replace the wheel, it's bloody pointless having
a spare wheel.
A spare wheel.
And it definitely didn't come with any kind of jack.
And when we bought this caravan last year,
Spare wheels under the bed, isn't it?
It didn't come with a jack or any sort of jacking points fitted to it. So enter into the equation
I'm glad you lifted it up.
this bad boy, which I'm going to try and fit today. And now that I've shown you that, let me just put it back down on the floor. So the argument I accepted at the end of the day was tyre weld is all very, very well and good unless you get so big a puncture in one of your van wheels, i.e., you know,
A blowout.
yeah,
Yeah.
a tidy rip or tear, you know, let's say an inch or two, sufficiently big that tyre weld, as good as it is these days, just won't cut the mustard. It won't seal the breach in the tyre fabric. I mean, I would have thought that tyre weld, you know, might be good for, you know, nails and things like that. But if you have a blowout and it's a gash in your tyre of any significance, tyre weld just won't cut it. So the side of the fence that we came down was, even though I didn't want to
Spend any money?
spend any money because I'm tight and carry the extra weight,
Because he's mad.
I was forced, from a safety point of view, to bite the bullet and to buy the Kojak.
Bottle jack.
Well, it's a Kojak sort of orange thing,
We're getting too technical now.
which I'm going to try and install today. Because in the worst case scenario, really you do need to carry, I think, a spare wheel and have the ability to replace it, jack the caravan up, because the last thing that I want to do is get stranded at the side of the road. Okay, so what you can see in shot is the Kojak jack and the chassis mount that I bought. Where did we buy it from? Was it Amazon?
It was probably Amazon.
Yeah, and I
wasn't
think this cost me £93, didn't it? I think I've seen it for 108, but when we bought it, it was £93. Let me show you what's in the box. So what we've got is the chassis mounts, first of all. These get bolted to the holes that's in the chassis underneath the van, and you can see that there's spirit levels on each side of the mounting points. There's two of those, obviously one for each side. Second one there.
it? Okay, here comes the dopey question. Are you ready?
Stand by.
What's the near? Which side is the near side? Do you know?
Well, of course I know. I'm not stupid. You've got the jack itself. I think there's a couple of spare spirit level things in there. Some bolts, and here you've got the 3-piece handle. 1, 2, 3 for the jack itself. Bits and bobs to get ready. We've got the two brackets, the nuts and bolts, a 19mm spanner for the nut, and a 18mm spanner for the bolt end, and we'll also need a torque wrench, which is in that black case there, because once fitted to the caravan, they need to be tightened up to 85 newton meters, according to a video that I've just watched on YouTube. And the first decision that we make, or we have to make, is where underneath the caravan these things fit. So let's have a look. Okay, now you can see under the caravan here the chassis, which is this thing here. Now a little bit further down towards the motor mover are 2 pre-drilled holes through the chassis. Let's get a close-up shot of that. Now here underneath you can see the motor mover, and I initially thought, here they are, look, just here. See these 2 pre-drilled holes here? let's have a look. Can I see that in shot? Yeah, it's a little bit dark, but there you go. So this one here and this one here, I thought that that's where the brackets would fit, but according to a video that I've just looked on the Bailey's YouTube channel, the mounting points for the brackets are actually just behind the axle, and obviously the axle is a little bit further back here where you can see the wheel and the motor mover, and there are two identical holes to this just behind, so that's where I'm going to fit them. Let's take a look at those first of all. Okay, so let's get down here now on this bit of cardboard behind the wheel and underneath, and have a look to see if we can see these two mounting points. Okay, so yes, just those there. So behind the axle is here with the wheel, and if we look at the chassis just behind, I'm guessing these two mounting points here. I'll just size those up to make sure that the brackets actually fit first of all. Let's try. Yeah, job's a good one. You can see there that the holes marry up quite nicely. Let's get the nuts and bolts in. Okay. I'm too old for this. Okay. Okay. I need longer arms. Okay, that's the first nut going on quite nicely. Let's try and get the second one on. Now the YouTube video that Bailey put up, and they should know what they're talking about, did specify that the bolt goes in from this side and the nut attaches to the back. Okay, but the question is, which side should the washer be on? Should the washer be on the... I've got a sneaking suspicion the washer should be on that side. Let's go and double check that before I go any further. Quite clearly from the Bailey's video, the washer goes on the bolt side, not the far side. Schoolboy error on my part, so we'll need to redo that top bolt. It's surprising how hard it is to get a nut on when you can't see what you're actually doing, you're just working by feel alone. Okay, so there we are. There it is. Washer on that bolt, top bolt correctly. In she goes. I still need longer arms. Okay, so that's that side done. Won't tighten them up just yet. Let's get the other side on first of all. That's the near side done. Now for the off side. Now, as you might be able to see from the offside, we've got a little bit less room here because on this side we have the wastewater outflow pipes here. The chassis holes are just towards where my fingers are pointing, behind the wheel flap here. It's still doable, but there's a little bit less room on the offside than the near side. Well, these mounting brackets obviously is the presence of the spirit level, particularly on this side as you're installing them. Is you can see here, hopefully you can see here, that it's actually not currently lined up, and if we move it slightly so the bubble goes as much in the middle as I can get it, that gives you a good indication that the bracket is sitting as it should on the chassis. Let's get it tightened on. And the other tip that I'm going to offer you here is when trying to tighten them, always make sure that you've got the ratchet switched to the right side. Tighten, not loosen. It does help. I'll just nip these both up. That's it then, both brackets are installed, although I've not been able to torque them up to the specified 85 Newton meters. And the reason for that is there isn't, with the caravan on the ground and not jacked up itself, there isn't enough space for me to have enough leverage to do what I need to basically, torque them up properly. And I've come to the sorry conclusion that that is not something that I'll be able to do. I'll only be able to have that done, you know, during maybe a caravan service when the caravan is jacked up professionally. So that was a bit of a disappointment. Anyway, thanks very much for watching the video. If you've enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. If you've got any questions or comments, you know what to do. Drop them in the comments section below. Let me know what your thoughts are on
sealant or jack.
Yeah, you know, do you carry a wheel? Do you risk it? Is it worth a risk? Is it worth the risk rather of not carrying the wheel? Is the weight saved really worth the risk? Is it? You tell me. I'll be interested to know your thoughts. Thanks very much for watching. We're looking forward to getting away in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, in 2 weeks' time we are just going for a long weekend.
Where is it that we're going?
We're going to Shrewsbury.
Yeah, not love to stay.
No,
we haven't won the lottery.
Yeah, we are going to. I think it's called Stony Acres. Just a small, adults-only caravan park that has fully serviced pitches. They look lovely and flat. Because we're still getting used to parking it and stuff like that, aren't we? Go to lots more. Mayfield Park, and either the week before Easter or the week after Easter we're hoping to go to Yorkshire, Bridlington.
Anyway, thanks again for watching. Look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks' time.